My name is Samson, and it's another day of Director or Destructor. On this big, wide edition of Feeding Your Faith to Starving Your Fears. Feeding Your Faith to Starving Your Fears. On behalf of Simon Camp, I really want to appreciate you and welcome you streaming this and leaving your comment and liking and sharing with your friends and within your network. With this, with this we can reach more people and then impact lives and then people within our community. Did you notice something here? Did you notice that sometimes before you even open your mouth and say something or pray or tell someone about something, or you want to talk to God or something, why your request is still in your thought, while your request is still in your thought, answers comes. Sometimes it seems like you're thinking about someone or doing something for someone, or you had a good thought of helping someone, and then the person flashed on your mind, and while you are thinking about it, boom, comes the answer. That's one of the key things that propel that I will call attitude, the right attitude. But before we get down into that, uh, God's answers to prayer always come via the right attitude, through our heart, from our heart. Now, the reason why you get answers even before you even speak out or pray about your request to God is God sees first your heart. Your heart speaks volumes. I mean, volume, loud and clear before God. Your heart, not your mouth. There are a lot of people who talks a lot, and then sometimes they talk a lot, and I just turned off and put this in my ear. I don't want to hear it again. They make a loud noise. But your heart speaks volume. And that's why the scripture says in Isaiah 65 verse 24, the scripture says, before they call, I will answer, and while they are yet speaking, I will hear. Now watch this. Before they call, before you call, talking about your heart, before I call, God already answered, meaning that He knows the hand from the beginning. He knows what you're thinking. You've thought about it. Watch it. We're talking about destruction here. He knows what He knows you're thinking about it, and before you even say it out, before you call, and He answered. He already answered it. Are you thinking that God hasn't answered your prayer yet? From January to now? Oh, come on. It's done so much. Now, why you are yet speaking. So there are two parts there. There is the call part and there is the speaking part. We're not going to talk about the speaking part today, but we're talking about the heart, the right attitude. In fact, these are two things, the call and then the speaking. The call and the speaking, I will hear. While you call, he answer. And then while you're speaking, He will hear. Now, your state of heart provokes God's response, heaven's response, as much as your utterances in prayer, if not faster. So, what kind of heart gets this attention? What kind of heart gets this attraction? Watch this. In Jeremiah, the scripture says in 29 verse 13, it says, and ye shall seek me and find me when ye shall search for me with all of your heart. The seeking part, and you find the response to seeking. the searching part, and then the response of all your heart. When you do that with a condition, all your heart, all your heart. When we search God with all of our heart, we gain access to the fullness of Him, to the fullness of God. What matters is all your heart. Are you are you doing everything? Are you serving with all your heart? Are you, it's not just in prayer. Are you serving in all your heart, with all your heart at the place of your service? Are you fellowshipping with all your heart at the place of your service? Are you relating with all your heart? These give you full access to God's fullness and to God's measurable power. Now, the phrase "with all your heart" here, watch this. The phrase "with all your heart" connotes the wholeheartedness. And then in Proverbs 23, verse 26, you know what the scripture says? It says, "My son, give me thy heart. My son, give me your heart." God is calling for your heart. God is not calling for your mouth, like that. I'm here, that showing for that. How smart you are, how good talking you are, how this and that. God is calling for your heart. And you know where distraction starts from? It starts from the heart. Distraction. Your heart receives so many things. Access to your heart comes to your through your eyes, through your ears, through your mouth, even through your smoke and your thought. Your thought pattern, it frames what you see, what you hear, what you see, what you hear, sometimes even what you smell, frame the pattern of your heart towards, and then it begins to grow, and probably leads to distraction, and that alone can distract you in so many ways. With a lot of things that are going on, friends, there are distraction out there. You cannot, but there are tons of distraction. Your friend will distract you, people around you will distract you. How are you going to guard your heart according to the scriptures? Now, what does God seek for in all? Why he says, "Give me all your heart"? What is he looking for? It simply implies that approaching him with the right attitude. It connotes that you should approach God with the right attitude. And what is the right attitude? And that's what we are talking about. The right attitude. What is this right attitude? The right attitude is the wholehearted seeker, is a man with the right attitude. When a man seeks God with all of his heart, that's the right attitude. A right attitude commands heaven's attention. A right attitude commands heaven's attention so much more than the longest and the loudest person who pray, or the loudest man who stands in the place of prayer. You can stand so much long, spend so much time in prayer. You can spend so much time in calling with the wrong attitude. Are you seeking God for fame? Are you seeking Him for to be known? Are you seeking Him to be on the front line? To be here, to be praised, rather than seeking to know Him and then to please Him every day of your life. Now, we're told in Mark chapter 5, verse 25 to 34. I can't read that now. And it says that if I may but touch, the woman with the issue of blood said in her heart that if I may but touch the hem of his garment, I shall be made whole. And she got a miracle. If I may but touch, she made up her mind that let me just squeeze through the crowd and let me just touch the hem of his garment. I just touched the hem, and then she get a miracle. Now, also, Jesus was speaking here about heart, the right attitude, or the heart connection. He was speaking, how can ye, being evil, speak good things? A good question. For out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. Now let's back forward. Let's go back to our text scripture of Second Timothy chapter 1, relationship between Timothy and Paul. What was Timothy speaking about himself? Does Timothy have the right attitude? Or, well, we all know that Timothy his personality is timidity. He's given up on some things. For Paul to have called him that God had not given you the spirit of fear. Now look at what Jesus was saying here. He said that, how can you, being evil, speak good things? Speak good things, for out of the abundance of the heart the mouth speaketh. A good man out of the good treasure of his heart bringeth forth good things, and an evil man out of the evil treasure bringeth forth evil things. So the treasures in quote, attitude, thoughts, patterns, understanding, attitudes, thought patterns, understanding of a man's heart determines his utterances and ultimately his outcome in life. Timothy was in the state of probably giving up before, fearful, afraid, and it starts from the heart. What was the state? What was his thought pattern that led to Paul calling him out, say, Timothy, God had not given you the spirit of fear, but of love and of power and of sound mind. Friends, is director distractor. Look at this. The psalmist also said, let the word of my mouth and the meditation of my heart. In the book of Psalm 19, verse 14. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart. So most times, if you don't know it, know that the meditation of your heart can be acceptable before God. Let it be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my strength and my Redeemer. May the state of your heart not betray the utterances before God. Usually your state of heart can betray your utterances before God. And it's a very good prayer that may the state of your heart not betray the utterances of your mouth. It can conflict each other before God. And that alone can stop your prayers from being answered. And the meditation of my heart be acceptable before Christ. Oh Lord, strengthen my strength and my Redeemer. God has no problem answering prayers if we approach him with the right attitude. If we approach him with the right attitude, we shall always see great and big manifestation in all that we do. A great leading of God. Sometimes God leads you through your heart, your thought pattern. Say, that's not a good to go for you. Follow this pattern. Sometimes it leads you out of fear. Sometimes it's putting boldness in you to take a step, to move. It's move on. You also move. Right? So watch your thought pattern and watch your thought pattern. Put understanding towards your heart, because your heart speaks volume before the Creator of heaven and earth. Friends, it's director, distractor, and it's another time of feeding your faith, starving your fear. I believe I'm able to encourage someone out there. And please do me a favor, do us a favor on behalf of Sam Cam to share this, leave your comment, and then encourage someone that you should start feeding your faith, starving your fears. In the face of trials, keep feeding your faith to starving your fears. In the face of temptation, keep feeding your faith to starving your fears. In the face of discouragement, keep feeding your faith to starving your fears. Fear will always appear, but with your faith being fed, you can starve your faith by taking action towards your faith. God bless you. It's Samson on behalf of Sam Cam, director distractor. Refuse to be distracted. Stay focused, loving the Lord, impacting nation.